here. Again, I'm still trying to figure it out, or I always like to take the least visible portion of it. So this is kind of the main area. So this corner and that corner I think would be the most visible, and then you can walk around that other side, so that would be semi-visible as well. So this is one most people won't be walking back here. You might be going to the door. But anyways, I'm going to work on this corner just to make sure I can figure it out. So you see, this is a little bit bigger than the one that actually. So it'll be 3 3/4. So it'll be 3 inch on one side, and then it stays level. With that. And then this side is which they give you 3 1/4, so it's to make this and then make up that extra quarter. So that will overlap this way. I'm going to put, again, you can pick which way you want. If you did this way, you would see, the board with a little bit of a seam. So if I do it like this, you would see this seam right here where I'm kind of opening up. Versus if you overlap it this way, then when you're looking at it, again, at this primary look, you won't see the seam. The seam is on this side, so this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to bevel this at 2.5 degrees, and then this side is going to be the long side, also has to be beveled. So I've actually done that already. Because what I'm going to do is, so normally you can just nail this up, and then you nail this one. I've had trouble before where it's bowed a little bit. It's really hard, especially when you're doing like 9 feet like this, to get it perfectly flat, and you end up with a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is pre-make them. This one's just holding it in place, but I'm going to put this, I'm going to glue it, and then I'm going to get some 1.5 inch brad nails. It's going to be a little bit delicate, especially the pneumatic ones. Just the brad nails will hold it together a little bit, but the glue will really hold it. And what I'm going to do is just make one solid piece, and I think that would help with weather sealing, and also just be easier just to be able to put, you have this pre-made corner, and then just put it up like that, and then you can kind of adjust it. Make sure you're using on all this siding. Any exterior needs to be galvanized, or it'll rust and then ruin the wood. Okay, so I finished up the corner trim. Actually one of my nail guns broke and the other one jammed, and so I got stuck and had to go buy a new one. So it got late and I couldn't record as I put this up, but I'll do some of the other corners here. So you can see I nailed it. Actually screwed up here, and then it ended up again gluing the wrong side, so I had to sand all this down right now to try to get the glue off. I'll probably go over it again, but it actually gave me a nice smooth corner there. And then I picked out what I thought was the best wood, and I left this for this side, which would be the most visible, again, from the pool kind of general area. So this one had pretty good, none of it's really bad, but just being picky. This is the one, again, it's a really nice piece of wood, but it's got this little, I think might be a water stain. So I'm just going to start off with, I think it's 120 grit. Yeah, 120. And just see if I can sand that out. Very superficial here. So it's part of the grain, but you can see now. I just stopped it right here just so you can see it's gone there. So that's perfect. So I'm going to work on this corner first. Again, this is the top one. So I measure down right about 109 inches. The soffit, it's going to go in there. It's 3/4 of an inch. So it would be 108 1/4. But then I also want it just to overhang like maybe 1/4 of an inch. So just to give myself a little bit of play. I never want it to be short. And then you can see this one I hung over. It got about 1/8 of an inch 1/4. So it's nice that way. Just I like that little bit of overhang. If it's short, you can always tell. If it's over, it doesn't seem like you can tell as well. If you've never seen them before, the teeth bevel one direction or the other, and that's what gives you the full kerf of the blade. So always use the one that's beveled this way that has the slightly further piece over, or carbide bit that's over. Line that up. I've got right on my mark here. Smaller goes over like this, or goes underneath. So I get there, and it covers so you reveal. So when you're looking from this direction, you don't see a seam. So this one, you can see it's slightly bigger, just 3/4 of an inch bigger, which is just enough for that reveal. So it's going to sit. And I'm exaggerating the curve because that's what I want. This is the highest point because this is the same distance, the same length as the beveled piece that's going to cover up to it, and it's going to slope down away. So I like to exaggerate sometimes, just take it and so I can see it. Okay, yep, that's what I want. This is my highest point. And so I want the tooth that has the most right side on it to be the what's touching the line, because that's going to be the kerf. Here's a little bit better view of how I'm going to glue it, or how I glue it. So the glue goes on the top here, and then 18 gauge brad nails to glue it in place. So you can see now the overlap of this one was 3 inch plus the 3/4 inch of the cover piece, of the piece that's covering it. You get 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 3 3/4. So you end up with a square piece like that. But again, I like a little nervous trying to do this, so I'm going to take a scrap piece of wood and do it, and practice on it first just to get, because I think it's not a 90 degree. I mean, I already know because I had to cut that slightly sloped. One thing I always like to do too is to put X's, you know, on the part I'm going to cut, so I know which side of the line. I screwed this up, so now I did some arrows here. But this thing has guides on it that sit on this grooves that sits right there, and it gives you a perfect cut. And then you go, it's hard to see, but there's this rubber, they call it like a splinter guard. So the first time you get it, you run your blade across it, and then this is, you always know this is the exact part where your the kerf of your cut is going to be. I got it exactly where I want it to. Can't even see the mark because I got it right on there. This way, so same thing, I'm going to run it this way. I think I'll just chop it with a miter saw. So I'm testing out my piece here. So it would be, this is the reveal here that covers the other piece. You can see this is not perfect. It's this really just a beam. It bulges out in the middle here because the trim is all covered up. It's just bulging out there. So I think I finally got it all into place here. So that's the notched version side. This is the corner piece that's going to get glued to. I left my glue out last night, so the nozzle is dried up, so yeah, sometimes better anyways. I'm not trying to overdo it because I don't want the glue to run out on this side and then I have to sand it. It's good enough. Now I've got this scrap blocking here just to hold it in place, scrap pieces. The beveled side. It's pretty good. It's not really that warped. The only thing I want to make sure is that they're coming in at 90 degrees. I'll just kind of rough do this. I just like to do one end, the other end, get the middle lined up, just because sometimes it's not, bowed a little bit, and then work out each side here. These are 2-inch nails, so I have to be careful. Make sure I slightly aim it this way so in case it hits a knot or anything. Shouldn't, but it goes straight in and down. Try to put it up like this, so you have to nail one and then hit the other one. Pretty good. Soffit fits up on top of there because it'll be like that. So. Okay, so there's the corner I just finished, previous corner, and then I just put the casing around the doors as well. So this is side's almost done. So I'm finishing up the last bit of trim here before doing the soffit. It's kind of, it might be a little hard to see, so it's called the Frieze. It goes across the top there, in between these two sides. The way they had it was it went along the top, and these vertical corners went up and met it, and it went longer than it. I liked it better with the corner, so I kept the corner all the way to the top. This one, again, it's kind of hard to see just because it blends in. It's the piece right there. It's more 3/4 inch. What it's going to do is once you put the soffit up there and you put nails into it, or the edge, it'll cover those and also add support on the sides. So I did the side as well. There's the 5.5 inch Frieze at the top there, and then you should be able to see here where it's missing here. I haven't done this side yet. So what it'll cover up is that. It's also covering up that ugly cuts up at the top there where you had to diagonally rip across the pieces.